All right. Good evening. It's American Hammers TV, part of the American Hammers Network. I'm the only American here tonight. Tonight we have with us Ray from Liverpool, who usually
How you
comes to
doing?
us from the depths of his Coyote Ugly bar in Liverpool, but not tonight. He's coming to us from some other depths. I don't know where. Probably the depths of his house. We have Charlie from Hammers Chat, one of our favorite guys, always. Charlie, who comes to us from. You're in London, right?
North London, the Hell's Gate
North,
that is North London.
that's right, North London. I forgot about that. And Reese, who does our women's show with Ali. You guys all know Reese. You're in London too, Reese. Is that right?
Yeah, East London, Dagenham.
Proper. Oh, there you go, Dagenham. There you go. Yeah, home of the Daggers. Yeah, that's proper East London.
I'm from Dagenham as well, Reese. Don't you worry.
Oh, is
Two
that
two
right?
daggers in the house tonight then. Brilliant.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, so before we get started, as always, please do check out our website, AmericanHammers.net. You can get all sorts of merchandise shipped to you, let's say coronavirus free. Who knows? Maybe let it sit in your house for a few days after it gets there. Like wipe it down with some wipes or something. But anyway, it'll come to you at some point, unless the whole country locks down, which could happen. You know what? That could happen like next week. So I would say tonight, right now, as a matter of fact, open another browser tab, go on AmericanHammers.net and buy some stuff because you won't get it otherwise. If the whole country shuts down, it probably leaves from the UPS facility right to about a mile from where I live. So I'll go down there. I'll rattle some cages on Monday, make sure it goes out. But anyway, check out that stuff. We have our scarves out there. We have all our tons and tons of merchandise of every kind that you can imagine. Um, we have, and if you want to be on the show, if you are a fan anywhere in the world, it doesn't matter where you are, who you are. If you want to be on the show, let us know. Go to our website or get a hold of us on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or any place where we are. Any of those places, we'd love to have you on. We've had people on from all over the world, so we'd love to have you on. Yeah, as for tonight, I have no idea what to talk about. I mean, like, really, like the last three shows we've done have basically been about when is the season going to start again? Is it ever going to start again? How do you finish the season? What do you do? I mean, I don't know. Nobody knows. So I'll tell you what. Let me throw this out there. Let's actual talk about some actual West Ham stuff if you guys don't mind. So I've been reading here and there that Thomas Suchek is being not bred. What's the word I'm looking for? Being groomed to be our next captain after Mark Noble presumably retires, right? Walks away in whatever capacity. I'm a little surprised, if you want to know the truth. I mean, given that he's
Hmm.
played like 3 games for us. Um, what do you guys think about the captaincy after Noble leaves, whatever that may be? And you got to figure it's going to be fairly soon. Ray, what's your take?
Um, the captaincy is just a title at the end of the day. You have loads of captains within a squad. I'm surprised Declan's not being earmarked it, but that may be edging to us to be saying, well, he's not going to be around forever. Maybe
Yeah,
one season if it starts. You never know.
yeah,
And he's done well. Yeah, he's done. Suchek's done well, but yeah, I don't see it happening straight away unless there's a bigger. But I don't know how many more seasons Mark's got in him. Old Nobes, he's only got like one more season in him, I reckon, and then he's got to
yeah.
hang up his boots or go into management. So yeah, it's a tough call. But there must be a better people out there in the team though that's been here longer. You would have.
Hmm.
For
That was
me,
my
I
thought
do
too.
like. I do like a defensive midfielder being the captain, just because I feel we can see more of the game because he can talk to the back four, he can talk to the front four. He's that middle link between defence and midfield, and that's where you need the person to be the leader on the pitch. Really, that in my opinion, you know. I know there's been great captains out there like Beckham, you know, other people like that, and Giggsy. But they're more doing it from a leadership role where I'm doing this, so you have to follow me. Where I do like to have that communication on the pitch between manager, central defence, and midfield.
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. I think it makes sense. I hate having a keeper as captain. I know it's happened before, but it's not my preference. They're too far away from everything. Reese, what do you think? What's your take on who should be captain? And is it Suchek? Is it somebody else? And also, I want to throw this out there too, because you mentioned it, Ray. If this is true about Suchek being kind of set up as the next captain, what does it tell us about Declan Rice? Because he's the most obvious candidate for captain I can imagine, Does it tell us that he's gone if and when we play football again?
I think with this captaincy rumour that there's a couple of questions that raise to the mind, and it's what about Declan Rice? And he's been heavily linked with a move in recent transfer windows to another club. So you have to think, is he leaving? Or this could be a ploy by maybe Moyes or the club to make Declan hungrier as a player to get that captaincy. However, I'm not too sure on Souček because he's not been at the club for long. I would rather somebody maybe like who's been doing really well for us this season.
Yeah, did you say Ogbonna? Yeah.
He understands the club. He understands what the fans want, and he can get that message across to the players on the pitch, which is always important in a captain. And I know Ray said he doesn't like a goalkeeper being captain, but even Fabianski, he should be second in line, if not Ogbonna for me.
Yeah, I mean, I Fabianski as a player, I think would be a great captain. I always like the captain to be out there, sort of in the outfield among the players, as opposed to sometimes 30 yards away, not seeing what's going on. But yeah, I understand what you mean. Charles, by the way, Charlie, can I just ask you? Can I just very quickly, because I know you're a fan, have you seen there's going to be a new series of documentaries called The Dark Side of the Ring coming out about the terrible stories of wrestling? Have you seen that?
Yeah, I like the way you started this by going, let's talk about West Ham, shall we? And I've not even taken it. It's not me. It's usually me or Ray who does this, but it wasn't even us once.
It lasted about 3 minutes. I know. I'm sorry.
I like being so influential that I don't have to do stuff. This is great. I have seen it. I'm very excited. I've been watching the first series recently because they just put it all up for free.
Oh, really?
For free. And they're really good. If you're interested, you should watch them. They're really, really good.
I have not seen any of them. I didn't know they had even come out yet. So
the first series has. So it's all for free on wherever it was. Yeah, I saw it. It came up on Twitter the other day.
Are the Von Erichs in the first series?
I think so.
Okay.
If there is, I haven't got to that episode yet. I do believe so.
Okay, because that's the one that interests me the most because they were Dallas guys. Anyway, what about Souček for you? Now he was captain of good lord, where'd he come from? Slavia Prague. Slobber Prague. Yeah, he was captain at Slobber Prague. So he does have some experience there. What do you think about him taking over for Noble, and is he the right guy? And what does it mean about Declan's status?
Okay, so I don't think it means anything with Declan. Personally, I wouldn't make him captain yet, regardless. I just don't want to put that pressure on him. I think he has enough pressure on him in that position anyway, and I don't particularly want to see him overloaded in a time where he is actually just continuing to grow and grow and grow. Like the earlier on in the season, he had a sort of semi-down period where he wasn't playing up to scratch, but he was still very, very good. And yet just before we went away, he was absolutely killing it again. And that's super encouraging to see someone, because I often think with youth players, they come in, they do really, really well, and then they sort of revert back down to where they were, like where they're going to be. But he just went down a bit, and then he's like, actually, no, I am that good, which is super exciting. I don't want to put him in a situation where he's unnecessarily hampered. And I feel like just the pressure that comes with captaincy on the pitch, like you say, I like it in the middle of the park as well, just because I feel like, especially now with the rules being only the person who is in trouble with the ref and the captain are allowed to talk to him. Imagine if it's Fabianski, he can't go up and talk to him, sort of thing. I feel like it's important. It's one of those small things, but it is genuinely important in a sense.
Yeah, I think it is too.
Yeah, but I wouldn't give it to Declan yet, and I don't think it says anything of yet. But I could be wrong about that. Could be me just being naive, to be fair.
Well, Declan is a goofball, right? This is the thing that I always say about him, is that he's a great player. He has a lot of potential. I desperately hope he stays with us. I don't think he will for that much longer. But he is like a little bit dorky to be a captain, doesn't it seem? Like just the way he behaves. Like maybe on the pitch it's not that way, but he just has this sort of goofy, like sort of silly kind of demeanor, it seems, off the pitch. And I don't know if that's holding him back or if that makes a difference.
I mean, maybe. I mean, the thing is about being a captain, right? One of the things that I think makes Mark Noble a good club captain is, like, he clearly gets on with everyone. There is never a situation where he is with anyone where you go. There's tension there. Like, and I'm not just talking about the videos of him on the YouTube channel sitting down with Cresswell or Tompkins or whoever it is, although those are obviously a great example of it.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, he clearly gets on with everyone, and I think that is an important thing. So partially, what makes me a great team leader, and I suspect Ray is a great manager as well, is that we're just fun-loving people. You know what I mean? I'm a great team leader, guys. Yeah. I would put it.
Let me just make sure the girls are not in the chat. So.
Yeah. I did see Baz in there earlier. He's going to disagree earlier. I wouldn't knock that down against him. But I think with Souček specifically, if the rumor is true, because I didn't actually see where it came from because I've just been off Twitter.
It's just off Twitter. I mean, who knows? It could be anybody.
Weirdly, I've been more busy than usual, so I haven't been on Twitter.
I feel the same way I have too. Oddly enough, yeah, I have much more busy than usual. Yeah.
Maybe it's just because I'm not skiving as much, but
I'm doomsday prepping, I guess. I don't know.
I wish I had any sort of preparation. That would make me a lot calmer about the situation.
Not much. Yeah.
But if it is, I think it just speaks a lot to him. So as Souček as a player and as a person. When Ray said there must be other people, I don't know if there is. Being honest, I would look at the two I would mention straight off the bat are Snodgrass and Cresswell.
Mm-hmm.
They're the two I would look at and say are potentially sort of captain material.
If Cresswell's good enough to actually play every week, that's the problem. Is Cresswell good enough to be the starting 11?
I mean, he's our best left back.
Well, for now, yeah.
I know, but
to me, that's a position you could look to replace if and when there's another transfer window someday. That's almost the first one to me I would look at, really.
Potentially, yeah. Left back would be one of the positions, but again, that would be replacing Masuaku. But that's kind of the point of problem, I think, is actually I don't think there's anyone who's in the team who would be in a team consistent enough to be like the club captain. I think Mark Noble will be club captain until he goes, and then I think it will just be one of a selection of players. We'll have an Unai Emery situation where we have 5 captains, and whoever's on the pitch is just the guy holding the armband, I suspect.
Yeah.
Don't forget, Diop was captain for his last.
For Toulouse, yeah.
Oh, at Toulouse, yeah, that's right. That's true. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, sure. He's a. I don't know. I'd be nervous about a French captain. Sorry. I just would. That's my own bias showing through. But anyway, no, I think Reese, what you said to me, Ogbonna looks like if it's not going to be Declan, it would be somebody like Ogbonna who's been really good for us this season, who's been around for quite a long time. He's been around a long time. Like I saw, West Ham, the club, have been replaying some highlights on Twitter recently of games from 5-6 years ago, and he's there. He's been there. He's been around quite a while, much longer than I realized. So, so I would think that he would be, he'd be a good choice. Yeah. So there's somebody named Walt Armstrong in the chat room. Who is Walt Armstrong?
Wally, I think.
No, it's Wally. I know it's Wally, but he's gotten kicked off of whatever it was called. We're here. He was calling himself Wally World somewhere, and now he's not able to anymore because he's been booted out of that particular social channel. Can't imagine why.
Oh wow!
You can't I cannot imagine a more laid back guy than Wally. But anyway,
Fun fact: I faced Wally.
Folks usually just called you Ray Force.
Oh, did he?
This has got to stop. I can't do this anymore. Yeah, so for you guys, everybody who's tuning in late, Ray is not in the bar with the girls dancing on the bars. He is in his house with the girls dancing on the bars, right? Is that how that works?
I wish it was true, but all isolated themselves. So, yeah, it's just me and my mate now.
Women isolated themselves from me for many years, so I know how that goes. quite accustomed to that for a long time. All right, let's start to talk about another West Ham thing. So we don't know if and when, and Reese, by the way, I want to talk about the women's team a little later on too. I want to talk about that too. But we don't know, obviously what's going to happen with the season. Will it finish? Will it not finish? How do we evaluate David Moyes? I mean, let's say we don't, finish the season, and let's say for whatever reason it just comes on. We come back in August. Maybe Karen Brady gets her way and it's null and void, or maybe there's some sort of 22-team premiership. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But let's say we don't play another match for the rest of the season.
Sorry, Lee. Did you hear what they were saying the other day? That they're gonna play the rest of the matches, but have no one relegated and 2 from the championship come up. Did you hear that?
Play the rest and have no one relegated? Why would you do that?
So they're going to try and play all the games
Yeah.
just so they finish the season. But then they won't have anyone relegated because they say that it's not fair reflection of having games played against behind closed doors and all that kind of stuff. So no one will get relegated, but 2 teams will come up. So, but allegedly it'll be West Brom and Leeds.
Well, that's interesting. So that's how the Premier League would handle it, was just a 22-team league then, right? So we are staying up. We are staying up. Let me just tell you. The only thing I worry about with coronavirus, other than keeping my mother healthy, who lives with us, other than my mom, the only thing I worry about with coronavirus is West Ham staying up. Whatever else happens, I really don't care. I just want to. As soon as I know we're staying up, it doesn't matter to me. I'll stay at home for as long as you want. I'm just nervous about West Ham. That's it. Everything else is just like everything else is on the periphery. Like all the, whatever it is. Just West Ham. Yeah. I mean, sure, that'd be great. I'd take that. Then we'd have would it be four teams relegated or the next season?
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, it would have to be.
So we would be guaranteed to go down at that point, but at least we get another season in the Premier League. No, I hadn't heard that. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, I had not heard that. Here comes Neil says, oh, you know what? Oh, okay. Now this makes sense, Ray, because I did read this, not that. Sorry. I said,
did you read that? Oh, wow.
I did read this on Twitter, and I didn't know what it meant, Neil. I didn't know what it meant. And so now the TV, well, if TV people say no, then I guess it means no because they run everything. But I actually, I love the idea of, you know what? I'm kind of with Tim, and he said it up here. I love this. Whoops, not that one. Damn it. What is keep happening? Here we go. I'm totally for this too. I think this is a fantastic idea. Go back to the way it used to be. I mean, why not? Let's just stop calling it the Premiership and just call it the First Division. And also, let's go back to the old stadium. And also, let's stop. Let's have muddy pitches. And anyway, but no, I think. I mean, you do have to ask the question. I don't want to, I hate to bring this up again, but you do have to ask the question. You take April 30th as the earliest start date. I think it's super highly unlikely that we come back on that date, right? I mean, it's extremely highly unlikely. So if this season does return, it basically returns after almost a full close season. I mean, it's like having a whole summer off. Do you just run the players back out there? I mean, they've all been in their houses doing toilet paper challenge and, I mean, I don't know. So it makes sense to me that you would say, well, maybe we don't do relegation because this is a weird season. It's never been anything like this before. We've never had to do this before. And it doesn't seem really fair. And, but on the other hand, everybody's playing the same number of matches. So I don't know. Well, here's Neil's got an update for us. Neil's paying more attention than I am. He says they're looking for a return to action around June or July. That's interesting because then what do you do for the next season? Do you shorten it? I mean, I have no idea. See, my thinking is I would cut off this season as soon as we can cut it off so as not to mess with next season. I think better to have a full season next season, get back to normal than have some situation where you're playing over the summer and then August rolls around and it's like, well, we can't play now because we've played in the summer and now we have, and so you're now starting the new season like October and then the virus comes back and kills it. Do you guys have thoughts on this? Whoever wants to pipe up, start up.
One thing I think I would do personally is I think it's Aston Villa and I can't remember the other teams that have a game in hand.
They have two, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I would make them play them games in hand and then say to the teams in the league, look, everybody's played an even amount of games here and let's end the season with the results and then whoever's in the bottom three goes down. Same with the championship.
That's actually not a bad idea at all. You just so that you
with that idea is teams playing even games only happens at the end of the season anyway. So I think that would be a fair reflection for every team. But the only thing that worries me about this is I read something today that if they was to cancel the season now, I think it's Sky and BT was going to sue Premier League clubs something like £3.1 billion, which I think's ridiculous.
Well, they've already got. I mean, it is ridiculous because I mean, look, the games that have been broadcast, they've gotten the money, they've gotten paid for those, they've gotten their advertising money for those. You know what I mean? So we're almost every club is through 29 games. So you could sue, I guess. How could you sue? It's a global pandemic. I mean, it's not like they're doing this to. They don't want to anger the TV people. You know, that's stupid. But so I guess you'd have to be talking about 8 games. I guess 9 games of lost ad revenue. Okay, fine, but you certainly can't sue them for a whole season because they've gotten most of the season in. And you know what, Reese? I kind of like this idea. I'm looking at the table. You have Man City, you have Sheffield United, you have Arsenal, you have Villa. Look like the only 4 who are on 28, and everybody else is on 29. And obviously, those all are going to play each other. So yeah, maybe play. You know, maybe when everybody's play each other. Maybe if it has to be behind closed doors, whatever, and you just cut it off on 29, and you say, let's be fair. You say Liverpool gets the title. I mean, I know it'd be hilarious if they didn't, but let's not. Let's be fair. And then you go from there. I don't know, Charlie, Ray, what do you guys think?
You first, Ray.
So I think if Sky and BT try and sue the Premier League are going to brush it off, and then they're going to turn around and say to Sky and BT, "Do you know what? We're doing an online stream ourselves, and we'll have our own show where everyone pays £9.99 a month.
Yep.
And we just take you out of the question and make all the money ourselves."
I think that's very possible.
And then they'll start making even more, like billions of money instead of what they get for the Sky and BT rights. And then they'll probably start showing the 3 o'clock kickoffs and all that kind of stuff. They'll be literally rolling in the money. So if Sky trying to sue them, they'll be like, "Yeah, go on, there's your money." But we've just made like tens of billions of pounds around the world because it is a global market.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. No, I think that's, you know what? I think that could happen anyway. I think the Premier League could very much look into just saying, you know what, we're going to keep it all for ourselves. Charlie, do you have any thoughts on this?
I find the OTT idea quite interesting because, not to take this on a tangent, but for once it's not wrestling.
Go ahead.
It's not about that for once. One of the interesting things happening in video games at the moment is the idea of why do they still sell them in shops? What's the point when they can just sell them online? They can just sell them like digitally. What's the point? And it's the idea of they're still not at a stage. There's like a crossover point. If the graph is like that, they're still not at the stage where they can just go past them and F off Game or GameStop in America and places like that. And they're just not there. And I think the Premier League aren't there yet because obviously the overheads for an OTT streaming service would be far and away what they do now. Right now, they just basically film them and then ship them out to everyone. They don't have to deal with presenters and languages and all this other nonsense that comes with that sort of stuff. Infrastructure, they just don't have to deal with it. So I don't think it's there. And I think if they were to get sued, it would be a situation of, I think there will be a lot of lawsuits coming out of this whole situation in every industry, just because.
I do too.
Let's be real, like everyone's going to be absolutely walloped one in the face monetarily, and I think everyone's going to look to try and recoup that. I have no idea where that goes. I'm not a lawyer. I can tend to be.
No,
it's
times like these. It's times like these when I wish I had gone to law school because lawyers are about to make a lot of money off of this pandemic, I think, when we're all able to get back into courtrooms, or whatever it is they do, get back into meeting rooms where they make their deals. I feel the same way. I think there will be a lot of lawsuits, but I think too, and we've talked about this so much, but I just don't see how we're going to play this thing out. I really don't. I think it's going to be very difficult. And again, I'd rather, go into next season with a clean slate than mess around in the summer and, and then have it mess up 2 seasons.
There's just no clean way of doing it. Like, I honestly, genuinely have said this on other videos, but I do think the idea of making the season null and void is the cleanest way to do it. And even then, there's like a myriad of problems that come with it.
Of course. I mean, if you're a Leeds or if you're a Liverpool supporter first and foremost, but if you're Leeds or West Brom, I mean,
or Sheffield United or Leicester, who have all of a sudden look like they're about to jump up a level. I mean, there's so many issues with every single outcome. I think realistically they just play as many as the games as they can behind closed doors in a very short space of time, and then just try to start the season next season as soon as they can, because now we don't have the Euros. You sort of have that time, but it's weird. It's weird. I was saying this to someone else the other day, but it's going to be weird. Like in 100 years' time, someone's going to be scrolling through Wikipedia on their hollow iPads or
Yes,
whatever, and
that's
they're
right.
going to see this season with like an asterisk next to it. And they're going to be like, "What the hell happened here?" They're going to click on it and see this insane thing. But it's a very weird situation, and there's no telling what the hell's going to
Well,
happen.
there's no precedent for it, because last time football was canceled was World War II, and it just
Yeah.
went away.
Mm.
For basically went away for like 5 years, and World War One I think was the same way, if I'm not mistaken. So I mean I guess it could happen. It seems unnecessary, but if this thing drags on, if we really do have to quarantine ourselves. I mean, I saw a report the other day that suggested that we may have to do this on and off for the next 18 months.
Mhm.
I mean, it's, in other words, maybe you get a couple of months in the summer, and then in the fall it comes back around until there's a vaccine, which it takes quite a while to develop something like that and test it. So there's no guarantee we even start again in August. But yeah, I'm with you, Charlie. I always think about stuff like that too. Somebody's going to go to Wikipedia and be like, "What happened then?"
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll all still be around to explain.
There's gonna be a kid in a classroom falling asleep as their history teacher babbles on about the time the coronavirus was a thing. It's gonna be amazing. What I'm saying is there's gonna be me in 10, 20, 30 years time thinking about it. But yeah, it's a weird, weird.
It is going to be amazing. No, you're right. It's going to be like nothing else we've ever seen. It already is like nothing else we've ever seen. All right. So if you guys don't mind, let's talk about. I mean, I want to talk about as much West Ham stuff as we can, even though there's not much to say. So let's say the season gets canceled and we head into August and it's a new season and we've either frozen everything, or let's say we're staying up. All right. Let's just say hypothetically, because that seems like the most likely scenario. What do we do with David Moyes? What did we do with David Moyes? Did he do a good enough job? Do we know? I mean, do we bring him back for continuity? Do we find somebody else? I don't know. Reese, we'll start with you. What do you think?
Well, I think you have to put faith in him again, because either way, if they do cancel it, the season hasn't finished. He didn't have time to prove whether he was good enough or not. So yeah, I think you'd have to back him, but it'd be quite interesting actually, because if they start again in August, I'm not sure what they're going to do with the transfer window, and I don't think a lot of clubs are going to have the resources to spend the big cash. So
Yeah,
I think there may be not our owner, but I think there will be one owner in the Premier League that does go out and spend quite a bit of money over the summer, knowing that other clubs don't have the financial backing to do so.
I think so too. Yeah, I think so too. It'll be the City, or it'll be one of the huge money clubs. I mean, I don't know. Ray, what do you think? I mean, do we just keep going with what we've been doing?
I think, first of all, Reese has been listening to Patreon page, isn't he, Charlie? I think you understand that, really.
I wasn't going to mention it, but
Look, David Moyes has to stay in charge. There's no way. This has probably saved his job, so he's probably laughing. Because there's no way you can sack him and then bring in another manager, because the team need to be together for the next season. Transfers. I've been asking this question to every West Ham show online, saying, what do they do? What is the best thing to do? For me, I reckon it's going to be one season and there's no transfer windows. It's just open all season long.
Wow, that'd be amazing. I mean, you just open all season long, not closed, but open all season long.
Yeah, or one or the other, actually. It could be like, all right, no transfers for one season, or you can transfer anytime. And I'll be quite open to either side. Whether it is like everyone's just frozen, or I don't know if you can do that legally, if you can freeze someone in there. Because if
I doubt you could do it for. I mean, I have no idea. I have no idea how it works in the UK. We had this talk last week when we had a couple of American guys on here. I mean, if this were an American sport with an American union, this would be an entirely different exercise. You absolutely could not do that. However, I don't know how it works. Sorry, go ahead.
Because I was just thinking, if someone's on their 6 months on their contract and you can't sell them because the season's frozen, then like your revenue's going to be lost for what if you could get like 10 million for them or whatever it is. So
Yeah.
for me, probably just leave the transfer window open all season long.
I mean, if you think about that, that is, oh man, the transfer window open all season long. It's just going to be like open season. You know, you get a player in form, and all of a sudden it's like, well, here comes Manchester City with £100 million. He's gone. You know.
Yeah, the olden days.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like it, except it'd be really bad for us. But,
Yeah.
but I sort of like the Wild West spirit of it. You know what I mean? I don't know, Charlie. What you thinking about Moyes and transfer windows and all this other stuff?
Can I ask Ray a quick question first?
Do what you
Right.
want.
Ray, are those gold wireless Beats headphones?
They are.
Oh, look at this! Look at that managerial nonsense. So I just noticed you wearing them, and I was like, "Look at it." Sorry.
Wait a minute. I got
that
these from work.
as well.
Look at this decadence on display. Look at this.
Well, you know, he's in the entertainment industry technically. So yeah.
My headphones are held together by like gaffer tape. Look at that.
Mine came. These are from work. The last day I was at work, I brought home my computer, these headphones, and a monitor from my job. So these are like tagged. You know what I mean? Somebody in Hudson, New Hampshire knows I'm using these because they're like tagged somehow. But whatever.
Funny story about these, Charlie, is like I was drunk one night and I was getting a little bit cocky. I was like, I'm going to buy some Beats headphones. So I put them all in a little Amazon basket, passed out asleep because I was drunk. Woke up next day, I was like, I've got to buy some leads for the office and stuff like that. So I just put them I just bought them and went check out and I just went, yeah, buy now. I literally just bought everything. I was like, those Beats headphones, I was like, the leads just cost me 250 quid. They're only like 5 each. I was looking through the history and I was like, no, John's not shot.
But you
I actually quite like them.
But you can hear us so well, and that makes all the difference. You can hear our.
And the other thing, if you see Star Wars, if you look like that, I look like Star Wars.
Oh, God. Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, it's Ray Force. It really is Ray Force. It's
He's out here. Yeah.
It's Ray the Force be with you. It is in real life.
Yeah. I was in town the other day thinking I was cool. I had my head like that. I looked in the window and I was like, I look like a guy from Star Wars.
I'd say, oh, listen, you got to speak up a little bit too, because not everybody's hearing you very well. But anyway, but you're hearing us. I know you're hearing us because you got the beats. You know what I mean? You got the. All right, Charlie. See if you can stay on topic this time.
Never.
I'm worse. I'm as bad as you are. I know how it feels.
The thing is, I understand everyone's argument that it's the wrong time, but it might actually low-key be the best time, because it's the time where the manager can come in and actually have a full there's like a clean sweep sort of thing, because we have no idea what the hell is going to happen after this, obviously, but it would be a situation in which the manager could come in and just fully assess literally everything from top to bottom in the entire club, let alone just the playing staff. I mean, people always talk about, getting a manager sacked earlier or changing them earlier in the season or earlier in the window. I mean, this is about as early as you can possibly get. But at the same time, my concern is
Sorry, go ahead.
My concern is that recency bias with David Moyes. Apart from the last 3 to 4 games, I don't think he's had many good games whatsoever over the course of either of his reigns at the club. I made a really overly long video on the Hammers Chat second channel about it recently last week, and I don't know. Like, it's weird because the Wolves game was the first time I was actually vaguely confident that David Moyes was going to put out the lineup and the team I wanted. Every other time I thought he would revert back to type. Every other time I was like, no confidence. That was the first time I was like, we've got this. I reckon we're going to go for him. And then a global pandemic happened. So I just feel, I don't know. The thing is, if he went, I wouldn't be sad. It's not going to happen. He will be here. He will be here for at least the next 6 playing months. Let's call him, I guess. He will be here, but I wouldn't be against him going. But again, the answer is just who do you get in, and with all the contract nonsense going on, God knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, it
He
seems like a
could
bad
be
time to.
our, Sorry, I was just going to say, this could make him turn out to be our Alex Ferguson. You know, when he was almost sacked from Man United and now winning the 10, 20 titles.
Very bold. I like that.
I mean, he had a chance. He had a chance to be Alex Ferguson, right? Because he replaced Alex Ferguson.
Exactly.
That was the poison chalice. We all knew that, right? I mean, nobody was ever going to do that. But how old is Moyes now, though? He's not like, how old is he actually? Is his 60s, maybe?
I reckon.
I don't know.
I'll look at it.
Yeah, I can't. I know it sounds stupid. I can't. He's not a kid,
Yeah.
Not that it really matters. He's got a lot of years of management left in him, but
56.
Oh, 56. Oh man, football's hard on a manager. He looks older than that to me. He looks like, man. If you'd asked me, of course, I thought Pellegrini was like 80, which I think he may really be. I think his birth certificate's
he is
probably fake.
Nosferatu, so he's actually like 412 or something like that. The man is in a coffin.
Right. Well, Avram Grant was the undead. We know that. Avram Grant was never born and can never die. He's just like the undead, like a creature of the darkness. He'll be back eventually, but I
don't think we'll ever see him in the Premier League probably ever again. He might rock off on Match of the Day 2 as a pundit, but apart from that, it's not happening. I can't
imagine that guy's a pundit. They'd have to like keep poking him to wake him up, Avram. He'd be like, you could have Pellegrini on stroking his tie and Avram on there falling asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd have some great pundits with ex-West Ham managers. Just have Zola, just put Zola on there and he just do like this the whole time.
Be a lovely man.
Oh, I love Zola. I just didn't think he was a very good manager, but I liked his style. So I guess, I mean, sure. It's probably stupid to change managers at this point, although that when the game comes back, when the team comes back, when we lose that first match back, and what's going to happen, no matter who it's against, it's going to be #Moyes out immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt about that. That's the only way. That's the only thing that can happen. So, Reese, I wanted to ask you, since we have you here, and you do the women's team show with Allie, which we really like. What's the impact of all this on women's football? It felt as though it was getting like, maybe it's only because I've been paying attention to it only since West Ham have had a team, in the last few years. It felt as though it was starting to get like a little momentum, and now, along with everything else, it's gone. Do you think it's having a bigger impact on the women's game than on the men's game? Do you have a feel for that?
Yeah, definitely, because in the women's game, most of the players there are on a 1-year contract and it will expire in June. So we now have to question, if the season does run into June, what happens with them players' contracts. I think they would be renewed, especially with our team, because we've got quite a comfortable and solid team. However, one thing that will be a big impact next year is if the men's Euros causes the women's Euros to play alongside it, that will take a big effect to the women's games, because there's a lot of scheduling behind tournaments, and I don't know if the men's tournament being in England towards the latter stages and us trying to start our Euros will affect the preparation for that, and also in terms of revenue. If England are in the semi-final or final at Wembley and England women are having to play the same day, it will affect attendances clearly for the women's team. But also it will be interesting as well for me with the men's Euros. If this pandemic goes on longer than expected, the ticket pricing for me for the men's Euros, because I don't think a lot of people are going to be able to afford £80 a ticket to go and watch.
That is a very good point. And you know what? Actually, first of all, we'll get back to that in a minute. That's a really good point. But didn't know that about the women's contracts, and maybe that's why
Yeah.
I've seen on like women's football Twitter, I've seen a lot of posts about like there's going to be like 100 free agents, come the summer, and I didn't understand why, but it's all their contracts run out, so they're all going to be up for grabs, I guess.
Yeah, they definitely will be, but it'll be interesting in the women's game because I think a few of the so there's the top four in the women's game, which are Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, and Man United, and I
Right.
think they may be preparing to sign some of the players from the lesser clubs now. So by June they'll become either Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal, or Man City players.
Are we a lesser club in that sense?
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, Tim, one footballer to spend the next 14 days with. There's only one choice for me, and that's Alicia Lehman. So, I don't know how you guys feel. I was very impressed by her skills when she did the toilet paper challenge on Twitter. Do what?
Which one's that? Is that the blonde striker?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the blonde striker. She's the Swiss. Yeah. I think she's probably. I think she'd be a lovely companion. Anyway, let me ask you this, Reese. I mean, most of the women's clubs are like ours. They're pretty much, at least at the top level. It's West Ham, Arsenal, Manchester City, etc. It's big Premier League clubs that have a women's team. So you figure the investment will, we figure the investment will stay from those clubs. But I mean, is this going to kill a large chunk of women's football, like smaller clubs or even clubs that are playing at a higher level now? Like there's a couple, I think, in the women's Premier League that are not necessarily part of massive English clubs. Is it going to, do you think it's going to really damage them financially?
Well, yeah, it will be, because with the men's teams that have women's teams in, for me, League One and League Two, and even the National League, if they struggle,
for now, Neil, that's all. Anyway, sorry, Reese, go ahead. Go on. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So yeah, if the men's team is struggling financially, the first thing they usually get rid of is their women's team, so it will impact in that way. But also, you made a point about the big teams. I think it will actually hinder some of them as well, because quite an interesting point that I read in an article 2 days ago was that Manchester United manager Casey Stoney said they can't afford yet to buy a striker. So for a Man United manager to at any level, it kind of does show the lack of resources in the women's game. But I think it will impact a lot of teams.
It doesn't seem like much positive could come out of it either for us or anybody else. I mean, I don't feel as though there's. I mean, did you see any silver lining at all?
Well, the teams that I'm most worried about, to be honest, is the men's teams in non-league, because I think a lot of them are going to struggle to survive.
I do too. I worry about Chelmsford City. I don't see Tebow on tonight, but I worry about the only other English club I really watch or look at, which is Chelmsford City, and all the non-league teams. Even some of the teams in the league, like we saw Barry go under. We've seen other clubs, old clubs of some size go under. And let's see. Now, I just want to say to Alicia and her partner, you guys are still welcome to quarantine with me, both of you. That's it's also something we could accommodate. We got a lot of space up here in the attic. All right. The rest of the family.
I'll say this right, Neil. I'm straight, but I'm looking at Lee's beard and I'm considering life choices. That's all I'm going to say on the matter.
It's a common reaction. I mean, it is. It's a common reaction. I know. Hey, Charlie.
Can I just point out one thing? Can I just point out one thing? The bigger the beard, the more chances of keep having the coronavirus. Just that.
No, get out of here. It protects you. No, it protects your face. I can touch my face all I want, and it doesn't get to me because I'm not touching skin. I'm touching hair. That's how that works. There's no way I'm getting it with. There's no way I'm getting it. No, there's no way. It's not possible. I can go out lick a toilet seat tomorrow. I won't get it.
People are now going to stockpile shaving cream in the mornings. Cheers, Ray.
Yeah. Well done, Ray. Well done. You've ruined my Tesco shop tomorrow, you fool. I'm gonna come out. I'm gonna end this whole thing looking like Stig of the Dump, and it's gonna be your fault, mate.
Yeah, I'm well open to quarantine with any number of players. But no, the beard is
Can I-
definitely.
I've got to say, I've got a question for Reese. Reese, how much is a ticket to a ladies' game? Sorry.
I think it's so that the season tickets are normally around £25 per season, and then I think a match is £9 per game. So I'd advise to get the season ticket, Ray.
I was going to say it might help the ladies' team because you might find a lot of fathers not being able to go to the men's team.
Yeah,
And
That's a good point.
They might take their daughters to the game to get to see a bit of football. I don't know. Maybe it might help them a little bit. I don't know.
Well, I used to go to the Boston Breakers games when we had a team here in Boston, a women's team, and I mean, unfortunately, they're not around anymore. The league exists, but the Breakers went under a few years ago. I always enjoyed the games. I always thought they were a lot of fun. I always there was great atmosphere. The kids loved it. I didn't have kids at the time, but the kids who went loved it. I would totally go to a women's game. £25 for a whole season? Yeah, I'd totally do that. I mean, why not? I'd take my boys. I mean, absolutely. That sounds awesome. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Me and Gio went quite a few times back before the club got involved, when they were still just licensed as West Ham women, and
Right.
and then we went last season for a video we did, and I actually looked for you, Reese, and I looked for Ali as well, and I couldn't find you on the day, and then we had to rush off because I think the Arsenal Tottenham game was on or something, and we were in a rush or whatever. I don't remember what happened, but it's like completely different. It's so impressive, like the leaps and bounds the club have made, like between then and now, and yet the pricing is still basically the same. I think like the first game we went to, I think was £3, but that was cheap. But then after that, it was about the same price as it is now. And the experience you get now is so much better. Like if you're even close to the local area, the only reason I don't go more is just because it's so far away from me. Like just because it's like just a long journey, and I have like zero money. But if I was close to the area, I'd go tons because it's genuinely really good. And especially like you say, if you're a family, I mean, it's perfect. It really is perfect.
How many games do they play per season, Reese? How many games are in the league season?
22.
Okay, that's a good 22 games for 25. That's amazing. It's like a pound. It's a quid per game. Americans can't say quid, but whatever. It's like a pound per game.
One thing that may be an advantage for the, well, not an advantage, but a positive step for the women's teams with all this is if they do decide to cancel the season, and there's a debate in the women's game that Aston Villa and Sheffield United, who are in the Championship, are too good for the Championship and good enough to play in the WSL now. So I think it could extend to 14-team league next season, which would give people more value for money.
And aren't Liverpool like in the women's league? Aren't they like absolute rock bottom at the moment? I mean,
yeah,
they have like single-digit points, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they're kind of in the opposite of where their men's team is. Yeah, it's interesting. When I went to the Breakers, I used to write about the games for Bleacher Report, which is a much bigger thing than it used to be. But a friend and I used to go to all the games and write for Bleacher Report. So we'd interview the players afterwards. We get on and talk to them, and I loved it. I mean, you're talking about like the best women's players in the world at the time were there, and the best coaches, and they just loved being able to play in front of fans, and they loved just the admiration that the fans gave them, and seeing all the girls there and their kits and everything. I thought it was a fantastic atmosphere, and I loved it because you had none of the like pretension of the male players. They just enjoyed themselves, and they were super competitive, and it was a great atmosphere. So I liked it a lot, and I would totally do that if we had a team again in Boston. I would take the boys. I would certainly take my nieces, but unfortunately we don't. But I one thing that we want to talk about before we go, Reese, that you brought up that I thought was a really, really good point. This whole pandemic is, potentially going to lead us to an economic disaster. And yes, Tim, you're right. He did coach not when I was going to see them. Tony DiCicco was coach when I was going to see them, who was coach of the Women's World Cup winning team in 1999. He was the Breakers coach.
In America, the U.S. women's national team averages a bigger attendance than the men's.
Oh, absolutely. The women's national team in this country draws more fans to the stadium, draws more fans on TV, is vastly more successful, and gets paid less. It doesn't make. Oh, of course, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, okay, I understand that if you are West Ham women and you're drawing, like a couple thousand fans a game, there's the supply and demand is not there to pay those players millions upon millions of pounds. But in this country, it's actually the women have a bigger draw all the way around. They're a bigger draw. They bring in more revenue, and yet they still get paid less. So it is totally unfair over here. When you hear Megan Rapinoe and people like that talking about it, they're not just talking about gender equity. They're talking about, capitalism. They're talking about supply and demand. Like the women are a bigger deal than the men. Especially here in the last 4 to 6 years. So,
Lee, did you see the statement why the US national team won't pay the women's team an equal amount of pay?
No, I didn't see it. No, but the U.S. Soccer Federation is a cesspool. It's so bad.
From what I gathered from the statement, the reason for that was because USA, who were 4 times world champions in the women's game, ain't as skilled as America's men's national team, who I don't think have ever won a World Cup.
Oh gosh, no, they've never come close to winning a World Cup. No, they're never. That they're not. Well, I mean, look, there are biological differences between men and women. We all know that, but who cares? I mean, the women have won their championship. Is it 5 now, or is it 4? Wasn't the last one 5, or the last one was 4? Okay, yeah, 4 times. And they've played the best in the world. The men have been to the quarterfinals once in the last, 70 years or whatever it's been. So, and they didn't even qualify. They didn't even qualify. They couldn't beat Trinidad or Trinidad and Tobago. Either one of them or both. Trinidad, Tobago. I don't know who showed up, but whoever it was, they couldn't beat either one of them. They failed to beat Trinidad. They didn't. We qualify in CONCACAF, guys. Look at the nations in CONCACAF, okay? It's Mexico and the U.S. and then like a bunch of islands, basically. I'm just saying, like football-wise, that's how it is. So you can't qualify in CONCACAF. It's like the Isthmian Premier League of world football. You really got to do better than that. So, yeah, I don't care who has better skills. I don't care who. It's the women's team is far more successful, bigger draw, everything else. I'm fully in support of them. At least getting paid as much, and they should probably get paid more.
on Trinity, I work for Barking, so our goalkeeper actually plays internationally for Trinidad.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Well, Shaka Hislop was from Trinidad, was he not? I think he was. So I mean, okay, and they did play in a World Cup. 2000 was it 2006? Or 2010 that Trinidad were in it. I can't remember. I think it was 2006 because I think it was after I moved back from Europe. So they played England in the World Cup. So I don't mean to put down Trinidad. I'm just saying that, like in general, a nation of 300 million people with the resources we have should probably be able to, qualify over Trinidad. But no, I want to talk about something you mentioned, Reese. Ticket prices. I mean, so this pandemic is likely to cause a major global economic meltdown. It might already have done that. I mean, Ray's at home. The bar has been shut down, and a lot of people are in the same situation. Is it going to get cheaper for you guys in England to go see the Premier League next season? I mean, do you think there's any way that there's a supply and demand effect there where people say, I can't go to these games anymore? Anybody want to start?
I don't think in the Premier League there will be, because the Premier League doesn't need to survive off fans' ticket sales. I think that'll be more likely towards League 1 and 2, because the Premier League just survives off TV money now.
Yeah. Ray, Charlie, are you going to go, Ray, as much as you did?
Well,
Ray's fine with them Beats headphones. He's fine.
Yeah, he could sell them, and he
just walks in
ready. I mean, he can hear it from afar. I mean, he's just living the high life. Look,
when they see him wearing those, they think he's one of the players anyway, right? So he just walks in. He's just like
gets off the bus, walks in slow motion, does a little.
He's just like he walks in behind Antonio, and nobody notices.
Ray, of course, having met him, is as muscly as Antonio. He is hench. And there you go. Look at that. Look at them guns.
That's what I'm talking about. So
there you go.
Are you? Well, let me ask you this then. Are you guys? Would you be willing to spend a little more money watching non-league football to try to help those clubs a little bit when they come back?
Well-
For me, I only go to see West Ham.
I understand that. That's
Yeah.
totally the way it should be. Yeah.
If it was like, I did go to Dagenham when I was a kid, but that was just because my granddad, he would take us to Dagenham. He was a West Ham supporter, but he would take us to Dagenham because
Sure.
he could afford it to take
Right.
all the grandkids and all that kind of stuff. But for me, I don't know what's going on with my job. So these might be on eBay tomorrow. You never know. So
I hope not. I hope
Yeah.
not. But if they are, I will bid on them. So just so you know.
I put the postage and packaging right up.
Yeah, put some. I gotta get my gotta get my Lysol wipes before I open it up. But anyway, what about you, Charlie? You got any interest in helping out the little clubs? Do you think there'll be any kind of backlash to Premier League ticket prices, or it's not going to matter?
I think football is one of those things. It's that religion argument again, isn't it? I think football's like a religion, and I think most people will sort of go to watch their teams regardless of it. I think supporting non-league clubs or women's football teams is actually super great. If I had any money, I would do that. Full disclosure, I didn't even pay for my season ticket. That's a Hammers Chat thing. So that's the only reason I go to games. Like before, I wouldn't go to that many games because of it. It's just a situation at
You
hand.
get it for free with Hammers Chat? Hammers Chat gets you in for free?
Well, they don't get me in for free. They paid for my season ticket. So
Oh, got it. Okay.
Hammers Chat as an entity paid for my season ticket.
Oh, okay. I was like, what did you and Karen Brady do that got you let in for free?
We've all seen the Nightscape video. We can just get in that stadium like that. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
Just walk in, climb up a ladder, and you're there.
Just walk in with a bunch of plastic zip ties and tell them you're going to work on the stands in there. You know what I mean? I got to put the stands together. They'll let you in.
I've been on stadium tour. I'm 1,000% certain I could walk in there for free if I wanted to. But yeah,
I
think
my Beat headphones.
yeah, there you go.
Not wear those headphones. You can't.
Yeah, no. They're going to look at me coming off with like all this nonsense. Yeah, I don't think there will be just because people are obsessed. I think if there was going to be a backlash, it would have happened already. Premier League prices are so utterly ridiculous, especially for families, that it's just, if there was going to be one, there would be one. Attendances might fall, but I don't think it'll be anywhere near, like Reece said, they're in the pocket of the TV companies. There's no... They don't have to have that cash, unless, of course, the TV deals go down. But then again, there's contract issues there, so maybe they'll counter sue them. What time to be alive? Let's all get Judge Judy on the case. It'll be great. But yeah, I don't think there'll be one just because there would have been one anyway.
Do you get Judge Judy in the UK?
Oh, do we get? Okay, let me break this down. Right? Let me break
You
this
mean
down.
we're exporting that too? We're sending the worst of American culture to everybody.
No. We're talking 1 till 1:45. You've got the news, right? That's fine. Whatever. We move on. Okay. 2 till 2:15. Doctors. Not a fan of it, but it exists.
Yeah, but you do weird stuff. What's 1:45? Everything here is in half-an-hour blocks. You do this 1:45 thing. Who does that? No, Americans can't follow that.
So there's more time in the day. You got to make the most of it. You know, it's because we have the national news for half an hour, and you have 15 minutes of local news. But yeah, then you switch channels, right? Once Doctors is done, because you want to see what's happening with the doctor in the prison. You then switch channels to reality, CBS reality, and they have Judge Judy for like 3 hours. I tell you what, if you're in quarantine, get involved. I'm telling you.
How do you possibly stand Judge Judy for 3 hours? Do you get the other judge shows? You know, we have a lot of judge shows over here, like a lot.
No, so we get Judge Judy, but we have our own one called Judge Rinder, who is on ITV, who I didn't like until I saw his Who Do You Think You Are, and now I quite like him. But he doesn't have the gravitas of Judy. He's not got that like grandma vibe that she has.
Does he wear one of those stupid hats that they wear over there? Does he wear one of the?
He just has a real condescending tone.
Okay, but then he didn't wear the wig.
No.
I love the wigs.
I actually know someone that went on to that show.
Do you?
Yeah.
What was the dispute? I don't want to know their name. I just want to know what their dispute was. And did they win? Is important.
No, they didn't win. And she was suing a father-in-law over a prop.
Right. Okay. Okay. I get you. Okay.
By the way, it's all staged. It's not real.
All reality. Listen.
What are you doing?
All reality TV is staged. No. All reality TV is staged. I worked with a guy who produced reality TV, and I'm telling you, yes, they film the people, but they write the script after it's all done, and they edit it
Yeah.
together. Do you know what I mean? It's all staged. It's not like it's a story that they write after everything has happened.
Hmm.
That's how
Hold
it
on, you're
works.
telling me the only way it's Essex is staged.
No,
You what?
No,
I didn't hear what you said.
The only way it's Essex is staged. Have you seen that?
No.
Actually, Lee won't have seen. Lee
Oh,
won't
Lee,
have seen that.
Lee, what are you doing with Lee? Right, listen. I know you're working from home, but
Dude,
what
I
I'm
watch
saying
like an hour of TV a night. I don't watch. You know what I've been watching? I've been watching The Crown about your people, and it's really pretty good. I gotta say, it's not
Hey,
bad at all.
the
Lee,
only way it's Essex is that people. I can
listen, exactly. Listen, let me teach you the way right. Lee. You're working from home. What you do is you open up the laptop, you sign in, so it looks like you're doing stuff. Then just leave it, and then get on how the only way is Essex. Like you want to get on.
Okay, so Charlie, so what's it called again? The Only Way is Essex.
Yeah, it's basically
Yeah.
our version of Jersey Shore.
Oh, okay. I should watch that then. Okay. Yeah. When Isaac,
Actually, not Jersey Shore. Not Jersey Shore. The Geordie Shore is more like Jersey Shore. That's more like the hills. Have you seen the hills?
I've seen.
Yeah.
I know the hills. Yeah. Okay, so when my son was little, I bought him a West Ham polo, a little West Ham polo, and it said Essex Boy on it because we used to live in Essex County, Mass, and I thought it was funny. But then I took a picture of him one time, and I noticed that the way the shirt folded, it covered up the E and the S. So it was like my 2-year-old wearing a shirt that said "Sex Boy," and I thought, maybe I'm just like not gonna. We're not gonna share that one on Flickr. You know what I mean? So we didn't really put that shirt on him again because I didn't think anybody else really got it anyway. But the only way, okay, I don't know if that's like on TV here, but I don't really watch a lot of reality TV. But if I can find the only way is Essex, then I will watch it. Presumably, they're all West Ham supporters, right?
I think, actually, one of the main characters in the first season was.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay.
Because he used to wear because he'd done boxing, didn't he, in the West Ham colours?
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. This is an important question from Rob. Nobody's ever been there, so we're not sure. Nobody's ever been to Delaware. As far as I know, nobody lives there. It mostly exists because every American corporation is incorporated in Delaware, because apparently you can incorporate for free or for very little cost in Delaware. So every American corporation, from the biggest to the smallest, is incorporated in Delaware, technically. Other than that, nobody knows if Delaware exists. Am I right, Wally? Nobody knows. There's no way to be sure. You know, it probably shouldn't if it does. It's like a Philadelphia spillover, but so what do you? So before we get done, we just close in a few minutes. What are you guys doing without West Ham and in isolation? Charlie, I think I know what you're doing. But what are you guys doing? What's been your replacement for West Ham, if anything? Reese, why don't you tell us? Since you used to go to all the games and now you have nothing to do.
Well, luckily, I'm a media manager at a football club, so my job's basically been trying to create revenue for the football team, and also players texting me 24/7 for footage. So yeah, I'm quite full up.
How are you guys doing? Are you barking, right?
Yeah.
And are you surviving?
Yeah, we're fine at the moment.
Okay.
We'd quite like the season to continue because we're only 6 points off the playoffs, so that'll be promotion for us. And we're also getting
is this the men's team or the women's team?
Men's team.
And where are they? What division are they in?
They are in the Bet Victor, Eastern and South Central.
Okay.
So it's like step 5.
Yeah. Okay. So they're it's actually you have like National League North, and National League South, and then it's like it's below that, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Okay, that's what I thought. I couldn't remember. I try to follow pretty far down the ladder, but you know it's hard to get updates at a certain point. Ray, what have you been doing? What are you gonna do? You got like your nights have to be so like incredible every night, managing the bar and everything else and all the parties, and now it's just gonna be like, well, you're gonna be here doing this with us, I guess.
yeah. Well, yeah, it's still our work has still been quite full on, to be fair, because moving all the stock around and stuff, and dealing with all the bankings and just closing up the venue. We've still got 2 more days of it really to deal with, so it's been quite busy. But Saturday night, it was weird because the whole city centre was completely dead and empty.
Wow.
And it was just like, oh my God, this is a Saturday night. And there was literally, the only people about were homeless. That was it.
Wow.
It was so crazy. Apart from that, I've been watching Mickey Finnegan. Love that. So if you're not out, you're out.
Or now.
Oh, is who that guy is? Oh, okay. I see him in memes all the time. This the out guy. Who is that guy?
Yeah.
Stand up.
He's a comedian. Yeah, he's a stand-up comedian. He's really good.
Yeah.
He's from Essex.
Okay, because I've seen the memes like every time Spurs get eliminated from a competition, there's a meme with him saying Spurs aren't out, they're out.
Yeah.
So that's that guy. Okay. I've always wondered about that. I've never known who he was. So that's.
So watch it. I've got a Fire Stick that's hacked. Maybe I shouldn't say that.
The authorities are on their way. Yeah.
I'm calling the police now. I'm sorry.
Charlie's gonna go. If he's gonna do a citizen's arrest, he's gonna go arrest you. Yeah.
I'm taking it to Judge Rinder. Taking it all the way to the highest level of court.
As soon as they turn up, I just start coughing on them.
Don't let Judge Judy know that. Don't let Judge Judy know that you're doing this. By the way, she'll take you down. You know she will. She can't wait. That's her thing.
Yeah. So I've got a load of channels. So I'm watching a load of stuff off that. To be fair, so yeah, good fun.
All right, Charlie, what are you doing other than watching garbage American television?
Well, I've just finished watching all 5 Twilight films. Which
are you serious?
Listen, if you want to, American Hammers, let's bind that off. American Twilight fans, let's have a conversation about it. I was Team Jacob until he forced to kiss Bella, and that was not about that life. And then he imprinted on the baby. There's a lot of questions I've got about that, which is a bit weird. Did they end up marrying? I don't know. It's quite weird. So yeah, I don't like it. And I'm definitely not Team Edward. He's a weird guy.
I have no idea what he's talking about, by the way.
I probably like. I think she has more chemistry with literally everyone else, and should just be an independent woman. I've got a lot of opinions on Twilight. Yeah, I've been spending most of my time editing.
Just on that, Charlie. Twilight is the first film. And this was ages ago. I actually was like at the screen, went, "What?" Happened right at the beginning of the last one because I was just like, that just shocked me. And then the twist. I won't say the spoilers if anyone's not seen it. Should have seen it by now.
Now this is a good idea. Wait, I can't get it to pop up. This is a good idea. I might do this actually, because I love gangster stuff. I love any kind of gangster movie, That was a tremendous show. I might do that again. I have to agree. That's you know what is also supposed to be good is Narcos. Do you guys have Narcos? I can't get it to go away.
I've not seen that.
I haven't watched it yet. There's a Narcos about oh good lord, the guy the Colombian guy, Pablo Escobar. There's Narcos about Pablo Escobar, and then there's a season Narcos Mexico, and they're supposed to both be really, really good. Super violent, of course, but really good. So if I made that may be what I put on, Charlie, on my laptop tomorrow.
I'm telling you, just give Twilight. Listen, do you like bad films? Because if you do, Twilight's not for you because it's great. No, Twilight is horrendous. Never watch it. But I will say it's like if you ever watch like The Room or something like that, where it's just so bad that you just absorb it and you just sit there and you're like, what? It's like that. No, I love The Room. Listen, I've met Tommy Wiseau. I love The Room. Don't get me wrong. I've got a signed Blu-ray of it. I love it, but
I want you to watch a movie. I want you to watch a movie called Lucky Numbers. If you want to see the worst movie you've ever seen, watch a movie called Lucky Numbers. It has John Travolta and Lisa Kudrow, which already should tell you where we are. Should give you an idea of what we're talking about. It was probably made about 20-ish years ago. And it is so spectacularly bad that every time it's on some lame like streaming channel, I watch it because it's fantastic. But it's unspeakably bad. But I love it. But no, my sister-in-law, not my wife, my sister-in-law read the Twilight books. And she liked all the Twilight books. But I don't really, to be honest, I don't know much about it. There's a werewolf and a vampire, I think.
Lee, listen, okay, Bella Swan. Okay, moves to a new town.
Her name's
and she goes to high school. Bella Swan goes to high school. Okay,
you can't be serious.
He falls in love with a vampire from the high school who looks 17 but is actually 108. and then also then falls in love with a werewolf who doesn't go to the high school, but she's known since childhood, and it's just a drama.
Wait, he's 108. He's macking on a high school chick. He's 108. He's macking on some high school girl.
There's lots of listen. Don't think about it too much. Don't think about it too much. But there's a lot of questions like this.
That is. I mean, okay, never mind. I was gonna say, how do I get to be a vampire? But no, that's not what I meant to say.
Can I make one other recommendation? It
Yes.
will help me out as well. Watch Coyote Ugly, the film. Brilliant film. Love it.
Wait, say it again.
Yeah. Watch the film. Help me.
I didn't. Charlie.
Coyote Ugly. It's the film that.
Oh, the movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I know that movie. Yeah. That's from a few years ago, but yeah, totally. Yeah, why not?
We need a sequel made as well. Come on, sequel.
I'm thinking it might be time to watch Green Street again. You know, like all great American West Ham fans, we'll watch Green Street again so we can see what it was really like in the hooligan days, guys. So it's like a documentary with Elijah Wood over there, like throwing hands. You know.
What's that old film? Is it The Firm?
Yes, The Firm's a good movie. Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's a good movie.
What's that?
I tell people, and not that I'm any sort of expert, but you know, from what I've heard from West Ham fans over the years, I tell people if they want to see a real hooligan film, watch The Firm. It's made for the BBC, oddly enough. It's not like it wasn't a theatrical movie; it was a BBC movie. But Gary Oldman's first role as an actor, and it's really, really good. And I think people tell me who lived that experience that it's a pretty accurate portrayal of what things were like back then. It gets a little crazy at the end, but you know, still pretty accurate. But yeah, so me personally, I haven't been watching. I don't get to watch that much TV. We always have the boys, and they take up a lot of our time. And then like maybe my wife and I watch an hour or so at night, something like that. But yeah, we've watched The Crown, so I'm feeling very posh, very English. But the Queen is a West Ham fan, so it's not, you know, it's not unrelated to West Ham, right? It's you know. So we've just finished it. So now we're like, I don't know what we're on to next, but it's got to be something.
This is the one West Ham related thing I've done, apart from Edit Hammer's chat videos, which you could watch if you've got spare time. I put a lot of effort in, please.
We have spare time, I think.
Myself and Wally have been playing FIFA. We have played a couple of FIFA games. They were both draws. That was exciting. I'll just say that.
Oh, did you play FIFA?
I'm going to be playing Charlie soon as well.
Did you play better than Mikel Antonio, who embarrassed us in front of a worldwide audience by losing to what's his name from Spurs? Sessegnon. Yeah.
Mine and Wally's games were very close. They were very close.
Draws, you said?
Both draws, 1-1 and 0-0. Both draws with bad internet connection. But Ray's next. And he's gonna blatter me. I'm gonna get done in by Ray. That's fine. I can deal with that, man. But yeah.
By the way, I have read this, Rob, and I've read a lot of the Hooligan West Ham books, and that's a really good book, actually. I like that one a lot. Anything Cass Pennant, Bill Gardner, I've read all that stuff. I love that stuff. How much of it's true, I don't know. You know, maybe part of it, some of it, but anyway, it's good. It's good reading. It's fascinating stuff. All right, well, I guess we've run out of stuff to talk about mostly. Although I figure Charlie could go on all night.
I've got many opinions on Twilight. I could give you daytime TV recommendations.
I'm on 1% battery here, so I've got to go.
All right, Ray's on 1% battery. Metaphorically, or like actually on 1% battery? Yeah, Charlie, you and I could probably do a whole different show about like wrestling.
Me, you, and Zach. I feel like that's got potential for a 4-hour epic. I think that'd be amazing.
How much did you watch the first?
Yeah.
How much did you watch the first 8 to 10 seasons of The Simpsons? Like old Simpsons. How much you know about old Simpsons?
A relative amount, enough.
Because Zach actually took like a class in.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so we could do something on that because a lot of old Simpsons is that's only the first 8 or 9 seasons. After that, it was crap. It's terrible after that. But
yeah,
we could do something on that. That'd be all right. I've been watching a lot of Bob's Burgers too. I don't know if you get Bob's Burgers, but that's a pretty good show.
Bro, let's do this. Come on, Lee. Come on.
We could do a whole thing about like animated comedies because we could do that. Yeah.
Who did the
Do you
Bucks and
guys get
Rats?
Mike Tyson Mysteries? Mike Tyson Mysteries is amazing.
No, it sounds
You-
like something else. I'm going to open it now because it sounds like something else I need in my life.
You've got to go through like 10 minutes each. So Norm Macdonald, I don't know if you know Norm Macdonald. He's an American comedian. He's a funny guy. He plays a pigeon. There's a guy who plays the ghost of the Marquis de Queensberry, who was like the founder of modern boxing rules. There's Mike Tyson's like adopted Asian daughter, and then there's the real Mike Tyson does play Mike Tyson, and it's really him, and he is astonishing. They're like 10 minutes each, and it's on Adult Swim, which is like this kind of stoner TV network that comes on at night here on the Cartoon Network, changes to Adult Swim at night. And you got to watch Mike Tyson Mysteries. I'm telling you, man, that's like,
I'm gonna.
that is super high quality. Anyway, Ray on 1% battery in Liverpool at home. Our friend Reese, when are you doing another show with Ali soon?
Yeah, we're just trying to schedule it because we've been busy doing like FAWCL podcast related stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
No.
be back
Well,
soon.
everybody should check out the podcast too, right? The We Are the Girls in Clark
Yeah.
and Blue podcast. Really good. I love you guys. I love your show. One of the only other shows on the network I actually watch. Don't tell anybody that. Don't tell Tim. I think he's already signed off.
You're safe. He's gone. He's got safe.
So keep us posted on your social media. Hey, Tebow, I see you there. I'm sorry about today. Tebow and I have been trying to catch up on the phone, and I feel really bad because we've had various child-related crises around the house, which wouldn't seem like a crisis to anybody else, but anyway, they kind of are to us. But anyway, so
Lee,
today was another crazy day.
You support Chelmsford, didn't you?
Chelmsford, yes, of course. I live in Chelmsford.
I used
Chelmsford.
I used to do media for their main rivals, Billericay. So.
Oh, that's so funny. I've talked about this before. Billericay is the Chelmsford's rival. The town right next to Chelmsford, Massachusetts, is called Billerica, with an A on the end, and that's the big rival to all the Chelmsford high school sports teams. Is Billerica. So it's the same thing here as it is there. You have Chelmsford and Billerica. So yeah, I do. I support Chelmsford because I live in Chelmsford, and Tebow, as a matter of fact, was nice enough to send me a Chelmsford shirt. I've actually got a Chelmsford shirt from a few years ago. So yeah, they've had a little bit of a rough season. So I wasn't, from their perspective, it wasn't the worst to see it go away. But yeah, no, I keep up with their results. Yeah, of course. Sure. Absolutely. Love that kind of stuff. When I go over there, I'm going to watch a game. I'm going to do that. Gary's from Biltwell. Look at this. This is your problem right here. I mean, this should really come as no surprise. Yeah, we did. We lost the Ray Force, but Reese and Charlie, thank you guys for being on. I always come into these things wondering what we're going to talk about for an hour, and then we always go like 20 minutes over. So anyway, appreciate you, especially you both in the middle of the night being up and awake. It's really nice.
It's all right. We've both. I haven't got a life anyway, so
yeah.
It's fine.
Nobody does right now. Nobody has a life. I'm doing is
it's because of the current situation. I don't have one. Yeah,
that's right. You can blame everything on coronavirus. That's the beauty of it. I am basically trying to keep my two boys from killing each other. I know they love each other, but they also, they're together a lot right now. So it's a little bit chaotic in our house. Yeah, so it's.
I mean, I've been watching a lot of live boxing in Aldi just to keep the entertainment up.
Over toilet rolls and whatnot. It's a big scene now.
Well, anyway, I appreciate you guys being on. Everybody in the chat room, I appreciate you guys being on as well. And I have no idea what's coming up this week on the channel. I never know what's coming up anymore because our schedule's a little weird. But look, follow our social media. Go to our website. It'll tell you everything. And in the meantime. Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.